times you feel like you're trapped in the book with her, but I also feel like that was actually an indirect mechanism that I think was actually very effective, that what Lindsay did, because she was on a hamster wheel of insanity with her childhood. You can't choose your parents. You can't choose your family. That is the life that you're handed. And she is encountering and experiencing that every single day. So what you're feeling as a reader, that this feels repetitive, how do you think Lindsay felt as a child growing up and seeing this every day? Because when you are around mental illness, that is a war you don't know how to fight because you just don't know when the bomb is going to drop. And I think that is the part that she has done so masterfully, because she is, we have to understand, she is doing an intersection right here of a millennial female Asian voice tackling a contemporary dark subject and talking about it in a very new way. And I think that's the part that makes it hard. And I think that what I said in the intro about things being uncomfortable, we have to get uncomfortable. And the thing is, like, we have to talk about it, we have to drill about it, and we have to keep on saying something, because if we don't, it's not gonna get any better, and we will still be on that hamster wheel.
I was abandoned by my father when I was 2 years old. So the irony is not lost on me that here I am, I'm defending a book about a mother who abandoned her kids. So I'm with you. It's an indefensible choice. However, you have to go back that in the 50s, there were no role models for women that wanted to do anything else but being a mother or a wife. The Catholic Church put so much pressure on the families to have children. My mom's boyfriend of 40 years, he's from a 16 children family, okay? Celine Dion has 13 brothers and sisters. I mean, that's the Catholic Church telling you, you have to have kids, otherwise you're not worthy of being a woman. And so I think she got married because she's from that time. She had kids because you had to have kids. But then the guy, her husband, left. He was in New York and she was alone in a house in the country with no money, everything breaking down, and she felt overwhelmed. And I think she felt she had no choice. Obviously, she felt she had other choices. But back in the 50s, they didn't realize that there were other choices because no one showed them the way. That's the tragedy of her life story. And she would be born now, it'd be a different story.
I love the fact that, you know, you've highlighted the fact that there's love, because in this book, there are so many themes. We're actually covering things like racism, and we're covering, you know, police brutality, and we're covering single mothers, and we're covering, you know, feeling alienated in your country, but it never feels heavy-handed because it's so real, and it's sort of very, very skillfully written in layers, and there's love, you know, and that gives it a great sense of grounding, that these are people who are fighting for their dignity. The greatest tragedy, if we're talking loss purely, is the loss of hope that you feel in these two brothers, you know? They struggle for their dignity, they struggle for opportunities that they see everyone around them in Canada have. And you see how slowly the system in Canada, we don't like to confront these things, right? This is an ugly truth that's happening in Canada. We see how the system in Canada is grinding them down until they lose hope. And that, for me, is the greatest loss of all. And also the fact is, we say that all voices matter in Canada. Black lives should matter in Canada, but they don't always.
This is the book that we need right now. This is a book that there's just not a lot of stories about this moment in time. This is about right now. And I think that there's something powerful about that. It's immediate, it's here, and I think that's important. And it's a hope, and I think it's a very strong possibility that it will make people want to reach out to their neighbor on the same street, to their classmate that maybe they never talk to, that they don't hang out with at lunch, or they don't sit together with because they're different. I think it can make them want to reach out, maybe just hold their hands out, maybe give them a hug and say, hey, I don't know you so well, but I want to give this a chance. I think we can get along. We have more in common than I thought. And I think that this is what this book can do. It can make us reach out, build bridges between cultures that live in kind of parallel lives. And we've all done an amazing job at defending all the books. But it's not about me. It doesn't matter. I didn't write this book. It's not my story. And what I want you to reconnect with is how you felt when you first read these two books. What emotion, how did it move you, and which one moved you the most, and which one made you feel like it was the most important. And I think I just want you to reconnect with that, because what we say today, it's not how great she is or I am. It's what this book did to you when you read it.
By chance alone really helps people understand wisdom. And I want to talk a little bit about the fact that every single one of our books on this table has something in common. They all represent underrepresented and marginalized voices, whether it's the voices of youth or women or people living in different circumstances, even mental health. So in terms of my particular book, there's another group of people whose voices is entirely underrepresented in this world, and it is the voice of the elderly. These are people who are all around us, and essentially they're quite invisible, right? And so how often do we, in the past we used to really revere wisdom and history from people who are older than us. Do you know what? We're not gonna have these voices soon. These are the last of the Holocaust survivors. I can guarantee you there's not going to be another memoir like this, perhaps in the world, but especially not in Canada. These voices are entirely fading away. This is Max's last chance. Right now, there has never been a more important time. There will be new young voices coming to the fore. These voices are disappearing right now. We have to let them have their say.
We have 2 votes against by chance alone, 2 votes against home. The tiebreaker sits in front of me. Yannick Truesdale, how did you vote?
Yannick has convinced me twice already.
I am shocked because I never thought I would change my mind. Wow. But, but she made a point that is very important to me. It is a fading voice, and it's the last chance to hear about that story. So, Chuck, I am so sorry. I never thought I would. I voted against Holmes.
Holmes has been eliminated. By chance alone is the winner of Canada Reads 2019.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Max!
She has pinned herself as the underdog all week, Ziya Tong, and here she is, the winner of Canada Reads. Is this a good time to ask you how you're feeling? Can you speak through tears?
I'm a little verklempt. I want to say thank you so much. I'm so surprised. Thank you so much for your support, all of you. I know you had such a very difficult choice, and I had such a worthy contender that I want every single one of you to buy all of these books, see why we've been so passionate all of this week. Every single voice here has mattered so very much. I'm very grateful to all of you.